Okay, good afternoon and welcome to another Lunch and Learn Live here with Action Coach here in Birmingham. It's great to be with you on this Wednesday lunchtime. Hopefully it's getting a bit warmer where you are. It's certainly still a bit snowy and frosty where I am, but it's never frosty when we've got Sarah Thomas Wickler from the Little Media Agency. Good afternoon, Sarah. How are you?
Hello, hello. I'm good. I'm good.
Good, good, good. Well, a familiar guest with us here at Action Coach on our Lunch and Learn webinars. And in the past, Sarah, you've been great at giving lots of great advice to clients and prospects about how they can improve their social media. But this afternoon, it's a bit about getting to know more about you and the Little Media Agency. So looking forward to hearing all about your journey in a few minutes. It's great to have you with us. Just before we do that, for those who are perhaps new or listen to us for the first time this lunchtime, we broadcast on a Monday and a Wednesday at 12 o'clock on both Facebook, on Zoom, and on LinkedIn. So if you listen to us on one of those channels, we'd love to have any comments, any feedback. What we've been doing on a Monday, we've been doing sort of educational slots, and on a Wednesday, we are here talking to local business owners about the challenges and the successes they've had on their business journey, and particularly over the last 12 months, so we can learn from each other and also learn how we can support each other, not just to survive this pandemic, but to thrive long into the future. And it is absolutely great to have Sarah Thomas Whisker. Is that, do I pronounce that right, Sarah? It's always a hard surname to pronounce.
No, but it's fine. It's Tomaszewska.
Sorry, say it again.
Tomaszewska.
Tomaszewska, I shall remember that. So Sarah Tomaszewska from Little Media Agency, and doing everything to support businesses with their social media platform. And Sarah's contact details are on the screen. I'll leave those there for a little while whilst we talk. So Sarah, what I wanted to really dig a bit deeper really is, as I've been doing with other guests on Lunch and Learn, is find out a bit more about your business journey. So tell us, when did you first set your own business up, the Little Media Agency, or whatever business that was?
It was nearly 5 years ago. To be honest, I did it all wrong because it was quite spontaneous decision. I was working in the office as a social media coordinator, and I had, although it was in-house, I was managing several different social media accounts. But to be honest, at that time, more and more people were asking me for advice about social media. And to be honest, this was also the time when I thought it's good to do something different. So I thought, okay, I can do some freelance work. So unfortunately, at that time, I had absolutely no knowledge of business and what you need to do and what you should do. So anything from branding or even like coming up with the name of the business, everything was just sort of happened. I didn't think anything through. I didn't plan for anything. And then I left my job, and then I realized, actually, I have no idea how to do clients. I have no idea how to get started. It's, to be honest,
I don't think you're alone in that, Sarah. I think, I've got to meet a business owner that has gone off and learned how to run a business before setting their own up. It's always the other way around, which is why we love working with so many different businesses here at Action Coach. But yes, sometimes often I meet business owners that sort of stumble into setting their own business up. They do it on the side, sort of alongside another job, and then take that leap of faith, and then suddenly realize how much more there is to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's but to be honest, what I've learned is that when you're desperate, you can do so much.
we call that perpetuation here at Action Coach. So that pressure that you put yourself under, to turn what you've got into something else. It's a bit like a pan of water on the stove, on the cooker. You switch the gas on to put the heat up underneath, and you can turn water into steam. And it's like that, isn't it? We can do so much more when we're under that little bit of extra pressure.
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, for those who I come across a lot of businesses who have full-time job and a part-time business on the side, and sometimes they're really worried to take that step. And so I know some people that it's been going on for them for years, actually, when they try to do both at the same time. But I don't think you can really accelerate if you don't give your full-time dedication to a project. Because I remember when at the very beginning I was doing both. I had full-time job and business on the side. I maybe had one client, and to be honest, it was very comfortable. I had 1 or 2 clients. I had full-time job. I didn't have to worry about money. I wasn't actually pushing myself to get more business. But then once I've stopped being comfortable. This is when it was scary at the beginning, but this is when actually things started happening.
And how long ago that was? Would you say that was in the first year, Sarah, or did it take longer to really get the business going?
I think, well, it's hard to say. I know I would say the first year was really hard. So I think I was maybe full-time first few months. And then when I left the full-time job, I would say it took good 6 months to start feeling a little bit comfortable again. I think first 6 months were really difficult. I think first year in general for starting your business is very difficult because there's so many things you don't know. Obviously, I had no idea about, I don't know, any admin and taxes. I didn't know what CRM is. I mean, like, it's completely different word. But then I think after, like, I think first year you just need to, keep going, and after things improve.
Yes, and I guess for many business owners, that first year it's about just keeping your head above the water and making sure you've got enough money to live on, and to keep yourself, to pay the basic bills like your mortgage or your rent and food on the table. But before lockdown, Sarah, so I guess you've been going 4 years before we went into lockdown last year, from what you're saying.
Something like that, yeah.
How did the business grow over those first 4 years? What did it look like, sort of December 2019? What was the business looking like then?
It seems like such a long time ago. To be honest, I would say 2018 and especially 2019, it was a good year. I think 2019, I hired my first employee.
Yeah.
The business was doing well, and obviously it was great because I think I had plans to expand in 2020, have another employee on board. I was speaking to a lot of potential clients. So 2019, everything was great.
And we know what happened next, and we'll come to that in a moment. But Sarah, if you could do anything, tell me, what was your biggest, proudest moment in those first few years of setting the business up? What would, if you go back and say, yeah, that's what really spurred me on, or that's what I look back on with fondness in terms of those first few years?
To be honest, I can't say I have this like one moment, because at the very beginning, every new client I remember being so happy when I was getting clients at the very beginning, and every client I got was a little bit bigger. So at that time, each one of them seemed like such an achievement. And I remember really cherishing those moments back then. I feel like this is something I'm just not doing at the moment as much. But every tiny thing felt like such an enormous success. So no, I don't really have one moment when I look back, because there was obviously a lot of challenges. Especially, no one really teaches you how to run a business. Nobody tells you how to deal in certain situations, when someone is rude or disrespectful, or if the client is, I don't know, not paying, disappearing, for example. So I think overcoming those challenges, each one of them, was something I'm always trying to look back to see, where I am now and where I was.
I'm interested, Sarah, because you said, you were working full time and then you set the business up. What was it that sort of made you want to go into take your own business full time? And you said earlier on you were very comfortable working for somebody else. You didn't need to worry about money. What was it that was really driving you, and still drives you, I'm sure, but what was it that pushed you into taking that leap of faith? I meet many business owners. Some of them it's redundancy, some of it they want more choice, more flexibility. Some people may feel just they can do something better themselves. What was it for you that really drove you to set your own business up?
To be honest, it was a mixture of things. Although I was comfortable with the job I was doing, it wasn't the best environment. I didn't enjoy where I worked. I enjoyed the job, but not where I worked, if that makes sense.
Right.
So, and also I was looking for a change. I like every couple of years to do something different, which having a business is great because every day is completely different. And also my mom was sort of hinting things. This is when she was she set up her business, I think, in 2013, and I was helping her with all her social media. And she kept hinting that, maybe you should do something on your own. Maybe it's a good idea. It's a growing market. And I think she kept like dropping it for like a while. So this is where the idea came from. And to be honest, the idea of having your own flexibility, your own time schedule, sounded great. Obviously, I didn't know at the time that business owners work actually more on their business than when they're in the full-time job. But this is what I learned later.
Yeah, so in the first few years of running any business in any industry, it is really hard, isn't it? But the ultimate goals and rewards for doing so are there to be taken and there to be had. So it's a short-term pain for long-term gain. I say to my clients, yes, it's tough in the first few years. And you've talked about how great 2019 was, and you probably know what's coming next. But I've talked to many business owners. We know that 2020, we then got into the biggest impact on any industry, on all of us for many generations with the virus of COVID-19. And it's really made many business owners stop and think and reevaluate. And I think it's a great thing, and given us all some time to think about where we're going, what do we want to get out of our business, and are we on the right track? Are we on the right route to success going forwards? And I think for me, Sarah, I've talked to many business owners, and there are, depending on what industry you're in, it would have had a different impact. You and I have both got, common contacts and connections who are in the hospitality trade. And for them, it's really tough. We know it's really tough for the retail sector. What's it been like for your business over the last 12 months in terms of, what sort of impact did COVID-19 have on the Little Media Agency and your day-to-day work?
To be honest, at the beginning, it was difficult. And I think, first of all, everyone were a bit scared and didn't know what's going on. So we lost 40% of the business, pretty much sort of March, April last year. A lot of clients were a bit worried. They didn't know what's going to happen. Some people lost funding. They pretty much expected. Some people, let's say, constructions was completely stopped. So they were like, there's no point even us doing marketing because we actually aren't allowed to sell our products. So it was difficult, especially for me. I found it mentally really challenging because suddenly, your freedom is taken away. Like before we worked in the office, and suddenly I had to start working with my employee virtually. So it was, again, another challenge. So on one hand, I was dealing with personal stress and fear of what's going to happen. Also, the business wasn't doing that well at the very beginning. I was struggling how to maintain good connections with my staff online as well, which was, very much new. So March and April were horrible. But to be honest, and also this was when my employee, which was absolute star, decided to leave as well because she just didn't deal well with what was happening and working virtually. So she decided to basically take a break from working at all.
Right. So not only did you lose, you lost, you lost some clients, you've been locked down with stress, and also your employee decided to part ways with you as well. So a really difficult time at the beginning, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was very difficult, especially even like the fact me and my partner were living in a 1-bedroom apartment where we both obviously had to have Zooms and phone calls, and even like having the small space at that time, it was challenging. Everything was challenging about that time, to be honest. But thankfully, I remember it was sort of like only March and April. From May, things massively improved.
I think it's fair to say that many businesses have been forced in some ways, and you alluded to it earlier on as, people saying, well, I can't market because I can't sell my product, but people have started to see marketing, whether it be social media or other forms, as an investment rather than expense in their business. And in order to continue to survive this pandemic, we've got to continue to communicate with clients. We've got to continue to communicate in some form to let people know we're here and what we are doing and how we're changing our business.
I think so. I mean, at first, it obviously came to everyone as shock.
Yes.
Especially, I remember in February, I still thought coronavirus, it's nothing. Oh, it's somewhere in China, like it's not going to affect us, or January. And suddenly it just came here. And I think a lot of people got scared. But I think around April, people started thinking, okay, it's here to stay. We need to just adapt. And actually, in May, I got a record number of inquiries from businesses who saw opportunity with things, because a lot of people realize that they can't sell face to face, they can't have meetings. So digital is actually the way to go. So from May, things definitely improved. And also the clients who sort of took a pause in March, April, then they came back around June, July as well. So actually from May, things started to improving massively.
I think it's a pattern we all went through, isn't it? That sort of, that change, the pattern of change where we, is that excitement and then that sudden despair and fear. And then we start realizing actually this is here for longer than we think. I remember seeing a news clip only last week, Sarah, from January 2019 on the BBC, and they were saying there's this virus in China, but there's nothing to worry about. It will never come to our shores. And we know what the rest of that story is. And I think there was that period of uncertainty for all of us in every business where we weren't quite sure what the impact was going to be and what lockdown was really going to mean to us and our businesses. But has you talk about everyone, many people have had to go online and work virtually, and digital has really sort of been a focal point for many business owners. How has that impacted your business?
I mean, at first, obviously it massively slowed down, but then obviously in desperation, you start looking outside of the box, basically, and trying to find new ways to find a business. So also at the time, I invested in SEO, I invested in lead generation. So I started working with like external company because I thought clearly I can't go to networking events. At the time, I'm part of BNI, as some of you know. I didn't know if BNI is going to carry on. Can I still rely on BNI? So I've decided to look elsewhere as well. And to be honest, that was really good decision. So to be honest, I strongly believe that if in every change there is an opportunity, because at least that change, even if it seems very negative at the beginning, it pushes you to do something different.
Yeah, a phrase I often use: every cloud has a silver lining. We need to look for the opportunity in every challenge. I talk to clients of mine, and when they're talking about customer complaints, every complaint is a nugget of gold. It provides you with an opportunity to do something different with that client. And I think the pandemic has, for many, many businesses, made us stop and think, ourselves included. I go back to December 2019, Sarah, and a conversation with my colleague Glenn, and he said, why don't we start doing webinars online and start doing some e-learning? And I said to Glenn, I said, I can't imagine being online. I don't want to. I like delivering service and training clients face to face, but here we are over 12 months later, and I think having taken the business online, why would we ever take it offline? There's absolutely an advantage for seeing people face to face, and I can't wait to see you and others face to face. But it's made us reevaluate how we can deliver our services in a different way, and I think that's the case where possible for many businesses. It's opened up doors and opportunities that perhaps we wouldn't have thought of doing. We'd have carried on doing what we do, what we know works, without considering other options and other ways of delivering our service.
Absolutely. And I remember, I think people are more open to working online and remotely. I remember back in the day, there was I had to go abroad for quite a long time. And I remember this potential client wouldn't agree for meeting me over Zoom or Skype at that time. He wanted to meet face to face. And he just was like, okay, if you can't meet me face to face, we just can't work together. And I was like, well, I'm abroad. What can I do? But now I find, like, I talk to clients in so many different countries. It's like I've stopped even working just with the UK. I have clients in US and Germany and Poland, actually 2 in the US, and China actually. So actually now we're not restricted by location anymore. We can work absolutely with anyone. Which is great, and that opened up a lot of doors because people are so much more open to doing things virtually.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and So that I'm down here in Kent and the business is based in Birmingham. That's not quite as far as China and the US, but there's many organizations to think differently, not just about how they deliver their services, not just about the services they deliver, but the practicalities of how they work. And the efficiency of for me personally, saving the miles on the motorway, not only the car, the environment, but my time as well. It's how we can manage ourselves to use the time we have available much more effectively. So just going back over the last 12 months, is there anything you think you perhaps do differently or wish you'd done sooner in your business career?
I mean, at the very beginning, I wish I planned ahead and even thought things through and had actually, I don't know, a business plan or some form of strategy before starting, instead of doing things very randomly. And last year, I think I wish I told myself not to panic, because I remember March and April being so difficult, like mentally for me. But to be honest, at the end of the day, everything will be fine. Yeah. So I think it's just, you've got to keep going. And even if there is a dip in business and something goes wrong, it's only temporary. Things will always improve and change for the better. So I think I just need to keep saying that instead of keep panicking because something didn't go according to the plan.
Yeah, so there's a well-known business coach, business author, Stephen Covey, talks about starting with the end in mind. And you're absolutely right. It's about having that plan of where we want to be, isn't it? And knowing, what we're going to do over the next few weeks, the next 3 months, the next 6 months. So we've got a goal and a vision of where we're going to go and how we're going to get there. I think, so go on, you're going to say.
No, I absolutely agree. I was going to say, I agree.
Yeah. And I think 2020 has given many business owners, dare I say, the opportunity to stop and think, what am I doing? How am I delivering my business? What opportunities do I have going forwards? If there was something you could go back and change and do differently, Sarah, what would it be? Or anything you think, yes, that was the right decision?
I think a really good decision, it was investing in digital marketing. Obviously, I'm biased because I'm a social media agency, but it definitely helped with extra inquiries and extra business. And also, I've learned how to work remotely now with my staff. It's actually not too bad. So yeah, things are okay now.
I remember, I think was it Spain or Portugal you were in for some time, wasn't it?
Spain.
Spain, yeah. And I have to say, I was very envious at that time of you being out there and myself being in sunny Kent. But I'm glad you've got back before these new regulations come in. It's good to have you back in the UK. And I look forward to say when we can all meet up in person. Who knows when that will be? But that time will come. We need to hold on to that hope and that vision, really. In terms of things you've done, changed in your business, what is it you're going to carry on doing, Sarah? And what is it you might go back to doing as you had done before?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I'm looking forward to working in the office. However, I like how working remotely saves me so much time and I have the flexibility. So it might be the case we do a model where we work, a little bit in the office, a little bit remotely, because at the moment it actually works. And I think in terms of the clients, although I'd love to see everyone face to face, I think with a lot of them, we carry on working via Zoom and remotely because, it saves so much time. And it's so much easier to catch clients because otherwise, if they had to travel somewhere, it's a lot harder to actually find time together.
They say it takes 3 months to form new habits. And of course, we're 12, 14 months into various lockdowns and all of us working, or many of us working remotely in different ways. And I think a lot of what we have done to change how we work in our businesses will stick. Talking for myself, working remotely, so long as we can continue to sustain the business and work effectively, it's better for our clients, it's better for us. As I said earlier, it's certainly more time efficient. Where do you see the Little Media Agency? So if I was to have this conversation with you in 2031, what are we talking about? What's your vision for the business?
I definitely want to grow my business and grow number of employees and grow number of clients as well, and carry on helping them with their social media marketing. To be honest, I am curious how the social media will look like in 10 years. It's impossible to even comprehend and guess actually how that's going to look like. But yeah, it's going to be very exciting, I can imagine.
Well, yes, I mean, we've had you on Lunch and Learns a number of times over the lockdown periods, and just seeing how social media has changed in the last 12 months. You know, if anything else, I've learned about Clubhouse and TikTok. I was going to say TikHouse and Club Talk, but you know, it's I think I get the right way around. But yeah, no, as you know, I'm not the most savvy on social media, but I think all of us have had to really get to grips with social media, and not just social media, but all different marketing techniques and ways of doing business. But yes, like you, I think there are certainly other big changes ahead, and there's probably jobs and roles that we don't even know exist in 10 years time. You know, who knows where social media and marketing will be generally. I think there's a whole world out there waiting to be grabbed by all of us, you know, and just to embrace. I think the important thing I've learned is to embrace new ways in our business. You know, the 2020 has really taught me, you know, always try different things, try new things, think about how you can deliver your business differently, try and pivot it differently. And don't just stick with what you already know, but try and think outside the box, you know, stretch yourself outside the comfort zone and think, how can I do this more efficiently? How can I do it differently to grow the business?
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of what you do at Little Media Agency, I know you've been on with us a few times, Sarah, but anybody else who's here with us for the first time, who've not met you before, you know, I know you give so much support to businesses, as you said, around the world. You know, you've got global customers. What difference do you make to another business? You know, somebody's thinking, oh, I'd like to find a bit more about Little Media Agency and Sarah's work. What is it you do, Sarah?
So just in case people don't know, I run a social media agency that focuses on all things social media. So whether it's your ongoing social media management, content creation, social media advertising that can bring extra website traffic, extra lead sales, but also training. So again, if you don't know where to start, if you have social media but isn't going exactly the way you want it to, we can always sit down and, well, via Zoom now, and go through things that could help you improve everything.
Brilliant. And your contact details on the screen, your email and your website. So if anybody's really, you know, wants to find out more about Little Media Agency, you know, please do contact Sarah. I've worked with Sarah, and I've recommended my clients to Sarah. I know she's done a great job for them. And, you know, we only have people on Lunch and Learns who we, you know, really do believe can add value to our clients' businesses. So it's great to have you with us, Sarah. Just one final thing you picked up on the point about change and planning for change. I think it's really important, isn't it? We don't know what's coming around the corner next. So it's really important to expect further change throughout 2021, and to be, as I always say to my clients, to be the bamboo in the garden, not the oak tree. We need to be flexible and be prepared to go with, you know, whatever comes around the corner next, you know, and just have a flexible business model that we can adapt and ensure grows as we go forwards. In terms of I know we haven't really covered it on this session, and we've talked about it before, but any top tips in terms of social media, just as you're here with us, Sarah, that we could leave our clients with, or our listeners with this lunchtime? Any top tips from you in terms of social media, if somebody's struggling with it right now?
Oof, where to start?
Yes, I know it's a big question, but
I think it agrees with what we've been talking about. Definitely plan ahead. Think about your content, think about what you're posting. If you're looking at the content, and try to look at the content you're posting from the perspective of your potential client as well, because that definitely helps as well. Don't forget your call to actions. Don't forget that every platform is a bit different. But again, for further tips, you're welcome to visit our blog, where we share a lot of information, or just get in touch and I'll be happy to help.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sarah. And it's been really interesting just learning a bit more about your journey. You know, I hadn't realized you'd only been in business 5 years before the pandemic. You know, you've grown a business, as we said several times, that's got global customers and global clients. And it's always interesting to hear how different people have approached the pandemic and approached growing their business in different ways. And I just want to wish you all the success with 2021. I know it's going to be, you know, I said this morning when we're talking in a different environment that, you know, there is light at the end of the tunnel. We've got this vaccine, you know, and it's being rolled out. I think you and I are probably at the bottom of the queue in terms of our age profile, but there's more important, more needy people first. But it is, you know, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and we just need to hold on to that and continue to go back and engage with our clients and make sure that we're offering as much support to them, so that whatever we went into this pandemic with, we come out with that and more. So keep talking to your clients, keep using social media, keep seeing marketing as an investment in your business, and keep thinking, how can I do this differently? Keep challenging yourselves, and we will all both survive and thrive into the future. But for now, thank you, Sarah, so much for joining us this lunchtime. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. I know you're going to be coming back in later on in the year to talk a bit more about social media and how it develops. So look forward to seeing you again. For those listeners who are with us for the first time, Sarah's talked a lot this morning or this lunchtime about, when she set up her business, the idea of having a business plan and really getting to grips with knowing the basics of business. If you're in that situation, if you're in the early stages of your business or in any stage of your business, and you think some of what Sarah's talked about really does ring a bell with me, I'd love to have that conversation with you myself. We've got various things we can work with you on, whether it's coming on one of our free coaching sessions, whether it's a free 6 steps business health check to see really where you could do with some more focus, or where we can support you, or where you're doing really well as well, not just looking at both sides of the coin. We'd love to have that conversation with you. And we've also got some great online workshops and webinars that we'd love to invite you along to as well. So if you would like to have that in-depth or that initial conversation to talk about how we can support you in your business, please do get in touch. My contact details, as Sarah's on the screen there. We'd love to connect with you. And if you're listening to this on Facebook, LinkedIn, or on YouTube later on, please still leave your comments, leave your questions, and we'll make sure we reach out to you. But for now, thank you, Sarah, again. Have a great rest of the week. And to all our listeners, have a great day. And we look forward to seeing you on Monday for our next Lunch and Learn session. Take care. Have a great afternoon.
Bye.